Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and distinguished guests. Today, I want to speak about a subject that stands at the very heart of our evolving global economy and geopolitics. India's commitment to pursuing a trade deal with the United States, despite the many tensions and challenges that threaten to derail it. The world we live in today is defined by interconnected economies, fast-changing alliances, and a delicate balance between national interests and global cooperation. Trade has always been more than the simple exchange of goods. It is a bridge of diplomacy, a tool of influence, and often a measure of trust between nations. For India, the United States represents not just a powerful partner, but also a strategic gateway to global markets, technology, and defense collaborations. Likewise, for Washington, India stands as a crucial democratic ally in Asia, a counterweight to China's rise, and a growing economic engine that cannot be ignored. But as we all know, partnerships are tested most in times of difficulty. Recent tensions ranging from U.S. tariffs on Indian exports to disagreements over energy sourcing and Russian crude, to concerns about intellectual property and digital trade have created significant hurdles. Yet, in spite of these challenges, India has chosen to stay the course, reaffirming its commitment to negotiate, to compromise where possible, and to pursue an ambitious trade agreement with the United States. Why? Because the stakes are simply too high. A strengthened Indo-US economic partnership could redefine not only bilateral ties, but also shape the future of the Indo-Pacific region and beyond. To understand the significance of today's negotiations, let us take a step back. India and the U.S. did not always share the warm relations we witness today. During the Cold War era, India leaned toward the Soviet Union for defense and economic support, while Washington pursued alliances with Pakistan and China. Trade volumes were small and mistrust was high. It was only after India's economic liberalization in the 1990s that the two countries began to recognize the vast potential of deeper engagement. American companies, from tech giants in Silicon Valley to agricultural exporters in the Midwest, saw India as a rising market of over 1 billion consumers. India, in turn, sought American investments, advanced technology, and global market access. By 2022, trade between India and the U.S. surpassed $190 billion, making the U.S. India's largest trading partner. This was not just about goods, it included services, investments, defense deals, and digital technologies. In fact, Indian IT companies became a backbone of America's tech-driven economy. While U.S. defense sales strengthened India's military modernization. So, what we are witnessing now is not just a momentary negotiation, is the continuation of a 3-decade-long transformation from distance to partnership. The biggest stumbling block in the present scenario is tariffs. Recently, the United States imposed steep tariffs, some as high as 50% on certain imports, including steel, textiles, and other sectors where India is a major player. For Indian exporters, this is a direct hit to competitiveness. India has responded, carefully expressing displeasure, but stopping short of escalation. This is because New Delhi recognizes that trade wars help no one, and retaliation risks undermining the larger strategic partnership. But tariffs are not the only issue. There are disagreements over agriculture. Us farmers want access to India's massive market. But India protects its farmers with subsidies and price controls. Digital trade. India insists on data localization, while the U.S. wants free cross-border data flows. Energy. Washington pushes India to cut Russian crude imports, while India argues that affordable oil is critical to its energy security. Each of these issues is politically sensitive, and yet they are precisely what makes this trade deal so complex. Why then is India committed to pushing forward? For New Delhi, the logic is clear: economic growth. A trade deal would expand Indian exports, attract U.S. investment, and create jobs. Geopolitical leverage. Closer ties with Washington counterbalance China's influence. Technology and innovation. Access to American technology in AI defense and green energy will accelerate India's development. Global positioning. A successful trade pact enhances India's role as a global economic power and a voice for the global South. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasized that India must pursue self-reliance, but self-reliance does not mean isolation. Instead, it means building resilient supply chains with trusted partners. The U.S. is at the top of that list. On the American side, the motivations are equally compelling. Countering China, Washington wants to diversify supply chains away from Beijing. Market access. India is one of the world's fastest-growing economies, offering U.S. businesses massive consumer demand. Defense and security. A closer partnership strengthens the Quad Alliance and Indo-Pacific security architecture. Energy partnerships. The U.S. hopes to expand liquefied natural gas (LNG) and clean energy exports to India. In short, for Washington, this trade deal is not only about economics, it is about cementing a long-term partnership with the world's largest democracy. The road ahead will not be easy, but there are clear paths forward. Gradual tariff reductions on sensitive goods, special carve-outs for agriculture and digital trade, long-term cooperation in energy diversification, dispute resolution mechanisms to avoid trade wars. Both sides may choose incremental agreements over a grand bargain. This step-by-step approach would allow progress without overwhelming either side politically. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look at this moment, it is clear that the stakes are historic. The U.S. and India, two of the largest democracies on Earth, stand at a crossroads. Yes, there are tariffs. Yes, there are disagreements. But there is also a shared vision of prosperity, security, and leadership in a rapidly changing world. By committing to this trade deal, India sends a powerful message that it is ready to rise not in isolation but in partnership. For Washington, this is a chance to embrace a trusted ally whose rise can stabilize, not destabilize, the global order. Let us remember, trade is not merely an exchange of goods. It is the exchange of trust, of opportunity, and of a shared destiny. And so, as India and the U.S. move forward, the world will be watching not only the outcome of the negotiations, but also the example they set for cooperation in times of tension. Thank you.